Hello and welcome to the How to Hobby Podcast. I'm your host, John Power, and this is episode 99 of the podcast. And I'm joined behind the mahogany desk by my fearless co-host, the co-hostess with the mostest, Sean Bennett. He is off the heels of one of the best dinners of his entire life. And oh man, I can't even catch up.
No, you can't. You can't. I wish I had pictures. I wanted to savor the moment, so I didn't try and take any pictures, but
Oh,
I'm telling you, one of the best, most fancy dinners I've ever been to. Shout out to my friend Tyler, who wanted to say thanks for me watching his dogs for the last couple of weeks while him and his fiance were on vacation. And so he offered to take me out to dinner last night, and we went to a place called Cowboy Star, which is a steakhouse and butcher shop in downtown San Diego. And I had arguably the best steak I've ever had in my life at this restaurant. And it was so good, so tender, so flavorful, so juicy. Like I
oof.
don't I will strive to be able to replicate this in my own kitchen. It's going to take me a long time, but I have a feeling with enough dedication I can do it. I can replicate this experience.
Well, that is a goal to have, and hopefully you do the best you can and get it done. But I Cowboy Star was the place, right? That's the
Cowboy Star was the place. Now it's not for the faint of heart. It was definitely a rather large
right,
bill at the
right,
end, but I
pricey.
will I will say if you've got the money, it's worth the experience. It's a really cool, rustic, chic kind of place. Really good ambiance. Two different bars. You actually get this just glass wall separates you from the magic that is the kitchen that is
Oh, I love
firing
those.
all of this. It was such a cool experience, and you just a really good time with a really good friend too, and talking about life and work and passions and hobbies, and just one of those evenings you get home and you lay in bed and you kind of reflect on, I'm lucky to be able to experience things like this in life.
Yeah, no, and I think it's so perfect. Listeners, watch people's dogs because you never know when they're going to just shower you with fine gifts and cowboy stars over your head
Exactly. Exactly.
because this is something that is we're all about here on the podcast. So come on in. Maybe there's even some listeners as they're streaming in. You can be asking, "Hey, you need some dogs to be watched, and maybe we can go get Cowboy Star and the gas lamp later." And they you never know, they might be willing. I
Yeah,
am actually, Sean, am returning off of a rip roaring trip to the
that's
world
right.
of the composite laminate classical laminated plate theory at Aberus training facilities out of Reno. And oh man, what an experience I had getting carbon dust all over myself and just showering myself in composite theory,
The
ABD,
brain melting knowledge that you had to absorb over that week.
melted knowledge. It was a lot.
Yeah.
Great course, highly recommend, but a lot. And maybe you're wondering, Sean, John, what the heck happened? I was waiting on Friday for you to come out with an episode. Well, it is on the list, listeners, for me to have a mobile setup. I just haven't done it yet. So Sean and I, we're working through we cannot transport the lab at this point
Not
and
yet.
and have all the seats come with us. So at this point, we're stuck when I have a training call. But in this case, it was well worth it, and I know a lot more about composites and how they fail. So you know that your planes are safe out there with my new head full of knowledge. But Sean,
Yeah.
this is a big moment here because Q2 has struck. We closed it out 98 with the gear we loved in Q1. It's time to unveil Q2 and where we're going. Let's let the listeners in. They're coming around and looking in. You might see something new in the lounge as you're coming in, listeners, because we have brought out the listener round table. Okay, this is where we are going to dive in deep in Q2 with you guys. And Q1 was all about learning, you were kind of going by the frosted glass thinking, what is going on in there? Well, actually, all we were doing was fabricating a wonderfully well-crafted table to have all of you listeners sit around it. And that's a pretty big table. It took us a while. But this quarter, we're going to be talking about modeling all of the things that we love doing, taking them to the next level. We learned about it and learned about how we can do things better in Q1. But now, how do we put those things in practice? So tonight's a big one. We're going to be talking about modeling leadership wherever you are. And we're really excited to have you guys, to invite you around the table, to get close. Grab your little drinksy that you like and sit down. And we're going to just really dive deep over the next couple months here as we steamroll right through Q2. I mean, is it Q2, Sean?
It is. It's officially Q2. At least we talk about Q2 every single day, all day at work. So I feel like I've had the phrase Q2 pounding in my head over the last couple of weeks. It is officially the start. April 1st kicked it off, and we are now working on tackling Q2. We are more than 3 months into the year.
It's unbelievable. So welcome, listeners. If you're new here, we'd like to welcome you. This is our place, the How To Hobby Lounge. We have the plushest seats in the game. So sit yourself around the round table in one of these amazing seats, reupholstered for 2024. And we don't spare any expense. I mean, this is Vatican leather. We follow every letter of the law when it comes to producing this leather and these chairs. So enjoy it. And we hope you're just excited to dive in. We have a couple different ways that you can engage with us. We always encourage you to follow the show if you're enjoying what we're putting out here out of the lab. And that's, again, anywhere you're listening to your podcast, you can give us a 5-star review. That helps keep the lights on here. And all of this stuff costs money, so it's very important. We do have social media as well. That's at How To Hobby Podcast on both X and Instagram. We do have a website too. That's howtohobbypodcast.com. And we're going through a retooling on the website to make it a little bit more exciting for you, spice it up a little bit as we continue to pursue greatness behind the mahogany desk. That's Sean and I down the hall. But yeah, we're so glad you're here, and we hope that you're having a wonderful, wonderful time wherever you are. Happy payday. Every one of our episodes comes out Friday AM, 6 a.m. Friday AM, 6 a.m. It's a big deal. I got to say it. I mean, how many podcasts come out at 6 a.m., Sean?
I don't know many. And I will say, I've had a couple of friends, one in particular that came up to me and he goes, I'm waiting Friday, 6 a.m. I'm waiting for it. And it was really cool how excited he was to log in and see it come in. So yeah, we are bright and early Friday.
That's right. We do not pull any punches. Right to the Friday gut punch. All right, Sean. So let's dive into tonight's topic, which is going to be all about leadership and how we model it. So first, we want to talk through what we want to model in leadership. How we put that into action. So we got to define that. And the first thing that I think is very important to say here on the topic of leadership, it gets a little misconstrued over the channels, depending on who you're listening to, but you can lead wherever you are. And we want you to know that here. We're looking around this table right now. We see a lot of smiling faces, and we just want you to know that you can lead wherever you are. And there's no requirement. Everybody always thinks, oh, the managers lead. No, it's not just the managers, right? You need to embody and model leadership practices in everything you're doing. And Sean and I are big on it. I mean, this is something we're passionate about. We want to empower you listeners to take the next steps in your journey of leadership, whether you're trying to do this in a hobby and really take charge and say, you know what? I didn't like the way that went last time when so-and-so was doing it. I think I need to step up a little bit more. There just wasn't enough planning that was done, or there wasn't enough anticipation about what could have happened while I was out there. And again, Sean, many people may think, oh, leadership, what does that have to do with hobbies? Oh, well, let me tell you, just about everything. And everything in life will boil down to good leadership and execution. That's I'm just going to go out on a limb and say it. So whether you're in your personal jobs, that's the first place everybody runs to. But again, in hobbies, Sean, we see the power, the merits of good leadership, and how smoothly certain activities. Again, you just had a great dinner, but it took some leadership for somebody to say, you know what, I'm going to actually take Sean out and look at how happy you are. You are smiling. So, in my mind, leading wherever you are it's an embodiment of quality leadership, and not letting your mind, your inner mind tell you, oh no, I've got to have the manager title. Oh no, I can't do that here because that's so-and-so's job. That's this person's job. We're not shirking any responsibility here around the round table. We are going to be calling to arms the people around this table, and we want you to just get up and get around each other to become the best leaders you can be.
I 100% agree. When you take a second to think about the leaders that you've looked up to in your life, whether it was a teacher or a boss or a friend or a mentor, you see them as they are a leader. They've already achieved that leadership view in your mind. And then you look at yourself and go, I'm too low on the ladder. I'm too new. I'm too this. I'm too that. There's no reason, there's no chance for me to even be a leader. But you have to remember that the people that you look up to, they were in your shoes once too. And what defined their path and made them the leader that you adore, that you follow, that you cherish, that you worship, is that they made that choice to start doing leadership things. They started embodying the mindset, the concept, the I'm going to do something about something I don't like. They
Right.
took that path, they deviated, and that's what allowed them to get to that step. So it's important whether you are young or old, no matter what gender or sex or orientation or nationality, anything, every single person has the ability to be a leader. It just has to be nourished, and you have to choose to do that. And I think that the defining moment of any person that goes from just a regular follower to a leader is when they realize that you need to step up, speak up, and show up. And the reason that these are so important is that they are the things that take you from I'm just a guy who does what everybody else tells me to do, or I do it because it's the way we've always done it, or I do it because the boss told me it needs to be done this way. If you see something that you don't like, that you think should be done differently, that you think should be modeled a different way, that you think, I don't even see anybody doing this, I want to be the first to do it, that never happens if you never take that step up and say, hey, I'm going to raise my hand. I don't like this. I think we should do it differently. The speak up. You're in a room full of people much higher than you, and you just keep your mouth shut. When you speak up intelligently and say, I think we should do this instead, they will look at you and go, okay, okay, I can respect that. He sees something and he's bringing it up. And the show up, you can't just be a leader once. It's never going to be the thing that takes you down the leadership path the rest of your life. You have to day show up as a leader, live embody what a leader is, day after day after day. Work on those skills, be there, show up, be there, show up, and prove to people that you can do it. And that is why I think that the take action step of leadership is what bridges the gap between I'm interested in this, I'm learning about it, to now I'm doing it and I'm living the life that I want. Do you agree, John?
Oh, 100%. And I love that you're kind of continuing to foot stomp that embodiment, the showing up. And we've talked about this throughout Q1, but being okay with failure as a leader is an extremely important part, and realizing that you can learn a lot every single day by modeling your leadership trend line that you're following. And I think we'll dive into that again as we continue on here. We're going to define what an ideal model is and encourage you to find your model. And that'll be what we talk about next. But then we'll also end with what a leader embodies. And that'll summarize our final thoughts on this embodiment of leadership. But one thing I will say next, before we dive into what the ideal model is don't be afraid to be intimate with fellow leaders that you find inspirational. If we brought out the round table because this is an intimate topic. When we talk about actually modeling leadership, we're calling each other to a higher bar, a higher level. We can't do that from afar. We can't do that and just say, we would encourage you to go listen to episode 93 on learning leadership if you're just wanting to kind of get the window shopper's view. But now that we're around the round table, we need to encourage you to be intimate, to identify those leaders that you want to be and ask them point blank, hey, I admire your leadership style and I'd like to understand how I could do it too, or model my own form that would be an embodiment of your leadership style. And again, we did hear about this from Laureen as well. I mean, she was big on finding and identifying your specific people group in more of a business context. But here, we're saying do the same thing in your leadership. You need to identify that person that you want to be one day and take action, show up, speak up, and step up to the plate to get the job done. And I think that's where we will all be running through the rest of Q2. Oh, so Sean, let's move into what the ideal model is. We want to encourage the listeners to more on that, finding the leader they want to be.
Yeah, the first and most important thing to remember is that there is not one right way or one right path to leadership, or that any leadership journey will magically look the same as the person next to you. We've already kind of touched on you could lead from wherever you are. This takes that to the next level where we're saying, don't compare yourself to others around you and where they're at on their journeys and what they've accomplished or what they failed at, because it's never going to be the same. Everybody has their own personality. Everybody has their own lessons learned, traumas from the past, happiness from the past, things that you're carrying with you on a daily basis that will mold the journey daily for finding and becoming a leader. So don't compare yourself to others, and don't worry that you might be going down quote unquote the wrong path. I
Yeah.
think that we'll touch on what a leader embodies in a little bit, but I think that if you stick to some of those things, whether you think you're on the right path or not, you're probably going to be okay. You're probably going to become a good leader. You will probably one day look back on this journey and remember it fondly and remember, oh, the grind, the daily things I had to do, the work that had to be put in so that I could achieve where I'm at now in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 30 years, whatever it is. Don't worry that it's going to be wrong. Don't worry that you won't get the promotion. Don't worry that you won't become the next big thing in your group, team, company, whatever it is. Just focus on keeping your head down and doing the things that feel right to you and make like embody a good leader. And we'll touch again a little bit in on that in a little bit, but I think that that's just important to remember.
No, I love it, Sean. Again, I think this is one of those things that it can translate to hobbies very easily when you talk about it. It's very easy to let the negativity influence you in anything you're doing. And we want to be the anti-anxiety, anti-stress medicine for you in terms of where you're going with your leadership, where you're going with your purchases, where you're going with your hobbies. And here it's a perfect opportunity in my mind to talk about money, because when you model leadership in your money and in your finances, you're taking ownership. You're no longer saying, I'm going to be afraid of the future. And when I started to unlock and dive into everything that is the joy of investing in things that matter for your future, man, it unlocked a whole new level of my mind in terms of freedom, and has made me more confident as a leader, and again, not being afraid to make decisions and move forward. I mean, leadership, embodying leadership is in everything I do. I move forward with confidence. I'm not going to be stuck in the sand and just have my wheel spinning. I'm going to reach out to the person. I will assemble the team to get me there, whether I want to buy a house, or I want to get my next motorcycle, or I want to pursue backpacking the Himalayas. I mean, you can do these things if you set your mind to it. And leadership is a huge key and an ingredient to this. Now, as we move forward, reflection is a huge key here to determining whether your strategy that you've picked is a winner. And we want to be very careful with our dial here. We hinted at this in Q1. Again, great stuff in Q1. We'd encourage you to go listen and dive into a lot of our learning exercises we have crafted for you there in the lab, and they've been really positive for Sean and I. But we talked about the importance of planning and time frame. This reflection in leadership is no different. You've got to have a key time frame in mind when you're picking a strategy and trying it out. Because again, as we've said, this is an organic process of, I'm going to model this every day and then reflect. And if your reflection, as Sean highlighted right before this, is, oh, I don't feel right, ooh, this doesn't feel good, then we need to switch the strategy up. No longer going down that same way. I'm gonna pivot, and that's okay. Everybody loves to think, oh man, I failed. I'm done. That didn't work. That play didn't work. So I'm done. And Sean, there's nothing more detrimental to your leadership journey than saying, I'm done.
Yeah, agreed. And I'll give you guys an example. When a couple of years ago, I was given the chance to become a team lead, and I had a team of people underneath me, and I had been so excited to take on this role that I started doing every waking minute of every day was about trying to be the best leader, right? This was my strategy at the time. I'm going to watch YouTube videos. I'm going to start reading books. I'm going to start listening to podcasts. I'm going to start asking around, and I'm going to embody this 24/7, trying to become the best leader I can possibly be. And while that sounded good in the beginning, what ended up happening was after about 6 weeks, 8 weeks, I was burnt out.
Ah,
I was
go
I was
figure.
so tired of I just wanted to relax. I just wanted to be able to sit on my couch and watch TV and not feel guilty because I wasn't reading the next self-help book, or I wasn't trying to become the best person I could possibly be. And what that ended up doing was affecting my leadership at work, where I literally was starting to take out that frustration, the tiredness, the not being able to feel like I
Mm.
could ever relax. I was guilty. I should be doing something. And I started noticing very quickly, this isn't working. Like it's almost going the exact opposite direction. I swung so far into trying to be the best leader that now I'm being a bad leader.
Huh.
And I had to step back and say, nope, I need to change something. I'm not doing a great job. I need to become better. And so that's an example of when it just didn't work for me. It just wasn't working. An example of when it did work for me was when I was going through the Mission Trails trail guide program. There was a wide variety of people in that class, from my age, or mid 20s, to people in their late 70s. They're retired and they're trying to become a trail guide. And a part of the class was you have to go on walks, right? That's the whole point. You're going to become a trail guide. You need to be able to go out on a walk and actually teach people stuff. And so this was one of those moments where I decided, instead of trying to be the face of everything, the one always answering the questions, the one always trying to show everybody that he knows what's right, I decided to take a step back and be a quiet leader and pay
Mm.
attention, watch everybody around me. What's going on? What am I doing? What could I be doing better? What do they know that I don't know? And so for a lot of the class, I had a really good friend that I sat next to all the time, but for the most part, I kept very quiet. I was like, I want to learn from everybody around me so that when I have the opportunity to step up and do something, it means something. It's impactful. And about 2 months into the class, I got that chance where I was with a couple of people from the class. We were on a walk, and I saw somebody from the public doing something that wasn't right. He was off trail,
Mm.
which can be very, it's a big deal. It can be very damaging to native wildlife. It can be a big deal. And we all just kind of sat there watching this guy go off trail, knowing he shouldn't be doing this, knowing we should be saying something. And yet I watched everybody kind of decide at the same time, I feel too new. I don't know. Maybe he's supposed to be here. I'm not a full-fledged trail guide yet. Maybe it's just supposed to be like this. And this was where that moment of, okay, I've been quiet, I've watched, I've listened, I've learned. I don't like what this guy is doing. I'm going to say something. And so I stepped up and I politely told the guy, hey, sir, just so you know, you are currently off trail. He wasn't very far, but enough that it was worrisome. And I said, you are off trail, and that can really do some damage to the local wildlife. There's a lot of burrowing spiders in this area. You could be destroying their habitat. Pictures of a plant or something, but he understood and he stepped off. And I turned around and I looked at this group, and it was funny because everyone was thinking, I wished I had done that. I wished I had said something. And yet all of them had stayed silent. And when I look back and I take this reflection time to go, what was different? What did I learn from this? It was that when you see something that you don't think should be happening, you don't have to be mean about it. You don't have to be rude. You could just say, hey, just so you know, you're not doing the right thing here. I think you should stop. And I watched all of these people go, oh, that's a good lesson to learn. In that moment, felt like a good leader. I had shown these people you can do it. Just because you're not a full-fledged trail guide doesn't mean you can't correct somebody. If you see something happening that shouldn't be happening, say something. This is part of that step up, speak up, and show up that we were talking about earlier.
That's right.
And, I'm going to take that to the rest of my leadership. I do it at work. If I see someone doing something that I don't think they should be doing, I say something now. I do it in the rest of my hobbies. Even with a friend, if we're doing the same thing, we're going on a hike, or we are going to go out ride bikes, so we're going to go, I don't know, to a restaurant or something, and I see him do something that I'm like, oh, I really like that. I reflect and go, okay, I've experienced this in the past. It worked. I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to say something. And so, as you mentioned, John, taking that time to reflect, try different things, and don't just switch back and forth. Give it some time. and learn from it and then reflect on it. And the best leaders are the ones that don't just think it magically happened. They know what happened because they've constantly reflected the entire time.
Yeah, and I think, those are some great examples, Sean, to really give people an idea firsthand of what good leadership looks like and bad. And I love that you highlighted the quiet leader, because I do think it's very important that we understand that less is more in terms of talking. And I also think I've found, Sean, that really great leaders know when to hold back and not be the focal. And that's so hard to do because people today love to listen to the sound of their own voice. And we all like to
Yep.
step up to the plate and be, the unbelievable leaders that we know we can. And there's nothing wrong with that at the end of the day. But I think this quiet leadership, more humble leadership, is something that resonates with me. And I hope that encourages you at the same time, listeners. Now we'll finish off what the ideal model is for leadership with looking for your light bulb moment. And you're going, what does that mean? Well, I'll tell you, it means you're finding success. So you've done what we're recommending here. You've been reflecting. You've been taking the time to see, hey, this went well, this didn't. Why not? I need to pivot. But you're starting to see success. And at the end, when you start to find your ideal model for leadership, you will find success. And that is the key. There is no one size fits all journey here. Everyone is going to be unique. Everyone is going to have a different trajectory than you. And please do not compare around the round table. This is an anti-comparison zone. We're going to identify why Jimmy is such a great leader over there in seat 5, but Sally in seat 2500 has a different way of doing it. So thank you for sitting there and enjoying the round table. And we hope that you found encouragement here in what the ideal model is. And we want to leave you with: find and identify your ideal model so that you can start reflecting today and become the leader you want to be for tomorrow. So let's finish up, Sean.
I really like that.
Let's finish up. Thank you. With what a leader embodies. We want to encourage the listeners around the round table to find their thoughts here and encourage them again with the final level of encouragement, because there's been a lot of encouragement going around. I feel joyful at delivering this message with you, and I want to thank you as always. The mahogany smells rich. I think we need to pay our team a little bit more money, but good leadership is 90% others, 10% you. And this is something you really wanted to dive into. So I'm going to let you take the floor.
Yeah. So this was something that I have seen in other people around me. I've tried to embody, and I came up with these numbers kind of on a whim, almost a feeling, right? Like, this is what I believe good leadership is: 90% others, 10% you. And the direction there is, I think that when it comes to people who care about those around them, they care about their team members, they care about their friends, they care about their family, they care about the other hobby enthusiasts that also like to do the same stuff that you do. Being a good leader is 90% helping those people, helping them become better versions of themselves, helping train them, helping teach them, helping them decide they want to try new things, helping encourage. Everything about being a good leader is being there to support those around you. And this
That's
doesn't
right.
mean you have to be in a manager role. You could be a team member that exhibits leadership capabilities, where you're like, "Hey, let me help you. You're killing it today. Like, is there anything I can do to assist you? Hey, I noticed you were kind of struggling with this thing. Do you want to get together on Saturday and maybe we can go practice together? Hey, I noticed you've been you've been kind of struggling lately. Is there something going on at home? Is there something, do you want to go out for drinks? Do you want to go play pool? Do you want to hang out? Do you want to talk through some things? The people who reflect and they see those around them and they try and help support them are very, very likely to succeed in their lives. And this is where the 10% you comes in. You have to remember that you are doing this leadership to help others, and it will naturally help you. If you embody being a good person, being a good leader, it's almost like things will magically start to fall into place. You don't have to always fight for the next promotion. People are going to recognize you deserve it. You don't have to try and make new friends. People are going to be attracted to you. You're not going to have to fight for that. They're going to see that there's that good quality in you. So it's 10% you, because you have to remember you are growing, you are working, you're reflecting, as we mentioned, but you're also working on helping others. And leadership will just, I don't know, it separates the people who are 90% others versus 90% you. Because we've all seen those people who just go the management track. I want to make as much money as I possibly can. I want to have control. I want to have power. I want to be at the forefront of everything. And they get short-term success and then it fizzles out because
Yep.
people realize there's really nothing supporting them. They've done it off the backs of everybody else. The people who have that slow burn, the slow churn, and they're getting there and they're working on others and they're helping others and they're doing things, they will just naturally start to go up in life. Financially, responsibility, freedom, everything. It's just going to tick up in life naturally. And that is why I think a good leader embodies helping others, 90% others, 10% you.
I love it, Sean. The only thing I'll add there is, I think you are the liaison to success. That 10% is actually weighted heavier because you end up being the final track to success for the group. And so with that, it's the classic old, with great responsibility comes
With great power comes great
power.
responsibility.
There, oh my gosh,
Thank you,
wow.
Uncle Ben.
That's right, Uncle Ben. I just hosed that up, but that's okay, Sean. I'm glad you're here to help me through it. This is one of those things. So be the liaison, take ownership of it, and be that 10% that is a very humble leader and able to take charge. So on that note, positive attitudes are very important for leadership, because as you're embodying and as you're modeling for those around you, the 90% others that Sean just so lovely put down quantitatively, we've got to have some percentages. I mean, we're engineers here. They're going to be looking to how you respond under stress. And when people get stressed, they have a tendency to lash out. It's just a common thing. But we're calling you, those of you around the table, to start to look above the lash out. To, when you become stressed, identify and reflect why you're stressed. And think about how you can do it better next time. Now, again, this is not a call to perfection. Nobody's perfect. Nobody has the ultimate antidote for perfection. I wish they did, because I would have been taking it and I would have been, wow, I would have been off to the moon already, right? But that's not how it works, Sean. You've highlighted that well, that this is an ongoing, and I'll argue a lifelong journey. This is not something that's going to come about in a couple days of, oh, you know what, I'm going to try on leadership. Trying on leadership is not like trying on a new pair of shoes. All right. They'll fade real quick if it's just trying on shoes. You know what I mean? We got to be the leaders of tomorrow and start today, because it's going to take a while. And that is, we don't ever put out calls on this show and moving into Q2. I mean, we're not pulling any punches again. We come out at 6 a.m. on Friday swinging. This is no different. So again, positive attitudes and giving yourself some grace, and importantly, others grace as well, because you will not be that liaison to success if you don't give and extend grace and have positivity along the way. So we'll end with be kind and patient. And this was kind of something that Sean and I were giggling about as we were putting this together, but harnessing your inner Mr. Rogers is the way we really think this sings well for you. And yeah, Sean, I think overall, this is a great way to encourage those around the table to find their leadership style and start to embody that firsthand. Is there anything that you think the listeners could go with here that I haven't mentioned regarding these attributes? Because we're kind of into the attribute side of it.
The only thing that I wanted to make sure we touch on is that while positive attitudes are a must, and while you need to be kind and you need to be patient and you need to just be positive altogether, you have to also remember that we are all human and we have bad days. We have days where we don't want to be kind. We don't want to be patient. We're frustrated. We're quick to snap at others. It's the reality of the situation. Nobody can be happy and perfect all the time. We are human. But don't think that those are inherently bad. If you allow them to overtake who you are, they will start to affect your life and they will start to affect your ability to be a leader. But people don't always want to follow those who are always happy because it almost feels false, right? They start to compare themselves to you of, oh, he's always perfect. He's always in a good mood. He's always optimistic. I can never be like that. There's no point in trying. I want to be pessimistic. Those moments where a follower sees their leader and they have a slight chink in their armor, they had a bad day.
Yeah.
They didn't take it out on each other. They didn't take it out on the people around them. They didn't start calling them names or being rude, but they may have been a little quick to snap at
Yep.
them. They may have been a little, hey, I don't want to deal with this right now. You know, like we all have those days. Those are the times where you will tie back to the thing that John mentioned in near the beginning is don't be afraid of intimacy. Because when you have those bad days and your people around you will see that chink in your armor and they'll see in, that is a moment that they can bond with you. You
Mm.
can vent about the person to them. You can vent about the experience or how you got a really bad night's sleep or how you were up sick or whatever it is. It gives you a chance to bond, to build relationships. And leaders are based on relationships. You can't do it without having relationships with people. So remember, do your hardest, work really hard to be positive, be kind, be patient, be an overall good person, but don't chastise yourself if you have a bad day. Sometimes you can use those to bond with others and build even like better leaders around you because they say, hey, I can have a bad day. He can have a bad day. He's still kicking. He's still doing great. Maybe I can try and do great. And I think that those are the moments where I have seen true leaders step up and say, "Hey guys, yesterday, you know what? I wasn't good. I wasn't having it. Things weren't going well. I stepped out of line a little bit. I may have snapped at some of you guys. My bad. I'm sorry. I will work to fix that in the future. Will you guys forgive me?" There is nothing as powerful as asking somebody for forgiveness. It's so crazy because it gives them the power in the situation. So yeah, I
Hey,
just wanted to reiterate that. Remember, you are human.
episode 89, learning to admit when you're wrong. This is a key. And I love it because it really is part of that building intimacy. I love that you connected the dots there. Do not be afraid to say, hey, yeah, I showed a kink. I am not perfect. I had one of those. I was trying to
Mhm.
recently, actually. It was just too much. I was juggling all these things. I was trying to get a meeting on the board, and it ended up just, bunch of like just miscommunications up the wazoo. And then by the time it all came to, oh man, I was like, literally got like 8 balls in the air. And then,
Hmm.
then people are showing up at the door like, hey, so you ready? And I'm like going, what is going on? I was actually just, it was overwhelming, when
Hmm.
you have so much going on, and that happens today with teams and outlook, and you're trying to you're trying to have good etiquette and put a meeting on the books in the right way, in the right channel. And certain leaders, they just don't do that, right? They just come and they burst down the door, and that's their style, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But how you respond, and that was where I made the mistake. I responded in a way that was out of just exasperation. It wasn't even that I was inherently lashing out. It was just in the way that the moment was transpiring. I had an intensity about my character. And I can kind of be an intense person, Sean. Go figure. But I had to say, I had to say at the end of the day, hey, I'm sorry, I was acting out of line there. I got I let the moment just there was so much going on. I acted rashly in a way that just, so exactly like you said, forgive me. I don't want that to be who I am, and who, and what people think. And I think you grow through those moments. So I'm so glad you brought that up. Oh man. Co-hostess with the mostest, I'm telling you. I don't call it false in the start of the episode, that's for sure. Uh well, Sean, thank you so much. Listeners, as you're packing up and getting out of your seats, we just really want to leave you with thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time. We hope you found value here. We're always trying and striving to put out content for you that encourages you and leaves you thinking. Take some time to reflect on what leader you would like to be, where you'd like to go with your leadership style. And again, let's be the leaders of tomorrow by starting today. That'll be our call. Again, we hope you've enjoyed the start of Q2. We're excited that you're here and to spend more time with you around the round table as we continue to move through this month, or the rest of this year. And Sean, keep doing what you do. You know how to do it. We're going to be curating this episode, and when it'll be coming out, 6 a.m. Friday. We highlight it every time. We're not pulling any punches on a Friday. It's payday. We're going to be getting that money and getting excited to go out and make some smart decisions with it. So, Sean, you keep being real. And listeners, thank you for listening. This has been your boys at the How
How
to
to
Hobby
hobby
podcast.
podcast.